everyone, and welcome to one of RVN Television's new shows, What the Why, with host Barbara Ann. If you're joining us for the first time, our show features conversations with diverse leaders from all walks of life about why they do what they do and how they figured out it's what they needed to do in life. Are you looking for something different in your life or your career? Are you sick and tired of feeling sick and tired? Do you feel stuck and want to learn how to get unstuck? All of our guests have something in common with you. They felt that way at some point in their lives. So whether you sought us out or found us whether you sought us out or found us by accident, you know, kind of like the accident I just made with my speech, there is no such thing as accidents. This show is for you, and thank you very much for joining us. Today our guest is Reverend Chris Collins. He's the CEO and editor-in-chief of the Anointed News Journal and the recently elected councilman for the city of Camden, New Jersey's 2nd Ward. The Anointed News Journal is an amazing grassroots newspaper that I've been reading for years. It promotes positive press as well as people's interest stories. The paper has over 180,000 readers weekly and offers cost-effective advertising for any of you small businesses who might be looking for a place to advertise in the Philadelphia metro area. As a positive voice of Camden, the Anointed News Journal has experienced a 200% growth in its distribution since January of 2016 as people went seeking positive news and not negative news. And it's the fastest growing and most read newspaper in the metropolitan Philadelphia area. As if that was not enough, after many years of being an essential voice for the community as a resident as well as for businesses, Chris was appointed to an open seat on Camden City Council to fill the vacated 2nd Ward seat as there were changes in leadership. And then he went on to win that seat by election in 2021. Chris holds a master's degree in theology and theological studies, as well as marketing and public relations. He also has numerous certificate program completion in marketing management, project management, human resource management, budgeting, fiscal control, you name it. So without further ado, please welcome Councilman Chris Collins.
Well, thank you, Barbara Ann. I am honored to be here on your show, What the Why, and thanks again for inviting me here. I'm excited.
I'm excited that you were able to take your time out of your crazy schedule to be able to come on the show.
Well, the schedule do get crazy, but I consider you to be a great friend, and I appreciate what you have done for us in the city of Camden when you were working with the SBA and helping us, helping all the small business owners in the city. You were definitely a jewel to us, and you were part of the fabric that helped the city of Camden grow to where it is today.
Thank you. That means a lot to me after, we'll just say, more than 2 decades of working in the city of Camden. Mm-hmm. So, but we're here to hear about you.
All right.
So, one of the signature questions that I ask all our guests is, you're doing a lot, but I don't imagine that you've planned on doing all of that. So what did you want to be when you grew up?
Well, for me, I've always had a love for marketing, but also had a love for law enforcement. So at the age of 18, my desire was to be a New Jersey State Trooper. I was fortunate to work for Sheriff Bill Simon at Camden County Sheriff's Office at that time. And I left the Sheriff's Office to go into New Jersey State Police. I was in the 110th State Police class. Unfortunately, every phase of the academy, you had to qualify. And at that time, I scored a 69 on my criminal law exam, and you had to qualify with a 70. So New Jersey State Police kicked me out the academy, and they made me start all over again from Jump Street. And I came back in the 113th State Police class. And unfortunately, we had a change in government at that time. I believe Governor Florio was out. Mm-hmm. Governor Christie Todd Whitman was coming in. and New Jersey put a freeze on all state jobs, which lasted over 3 years. So for 3 years, New Jersey State Police controlled my life. I couldn't do anything but stay out of trouble and wait for the call to report to work. And unfortunately, again, when the governor lifted the freeze, instead of allowing our class to come to work, they made us start all over again. And going through the process at that time, my particular investigator, who did not necessarily look like me, felt that I had a little too much going on in my personal life to concentrate on the job of a New Jersey State Trooper. So at that point, I knew that I wasn't going to be a trooper, and it was time to move on. And I met a gentleman who gave me the opportunity during that 3-year period to just work with him in the newspaper industry and learn the paper. Had no desire to do a newspaper whatsoever. I was just selling advertisements because I was good at marketing. And a gentleman looked at me one day and he said, "You can never do as a police officer the things you can do owning your own newspaper." And that was the conversation that started the road to where I am today.
Wow. See, I had no idea about your police dreams and work and all of that.
And that was the goal. I wanted to wear that electric uniform, and the dream at that time was to stand at Camden High School, Woodrow Wilson football game in that pretty electric uniform and represent my community as a New Jersey State Trooper. You know, and I'm not going to say unfortunately anymore, because it was very fortunate that I had those bumps in the road back then, because that's what gave birth to the vision for The Anointed.
Okay. So The Anointed Journal, let's talk about that, because you have a very specific mission around why you do what you do.
Sure. Well, let me first say that the Anointed News Journal does not represent any particular faith or any particular religious institution. It's called Anointed because I believe that God gave me the vision, and he anointed these hands to learn the business, to master it, and even to teach it. English wasn't my favorite subject. I struggled in English in school. If anyone had you came to Camden High School back in 1986, you may have said, "Hey, Chris Collins, which one of these students would most likely succeed as a journalist?" And I probably would pick a whole lot before me. But God, I believe, anointed these hands, and he taught me the camera, how to operate the camera. He taught me the computer, and a creative writing style that I would put my style of writing up against any journalist around the world. And so we call it Anointed News Journal. And it's also represents a group of people, which is the forgotten people, which is the Camden City community, which for decades the general public had nothing nice to say about the city of Camden. We find great stories and great people to write about. And in 28 years of doing this newspaper, I still have not run out of great things to write about the great people in the great city of Camden.
Yeah, and you did. I mean, I used to say all the time, back at the time that you started the paper, that, you know, Camden got a lot of negative coverage. And it almost felt like some of the Philly stations, no, not meaning any disrespect to them because times have changed, but it felt like they would air as much negative news they could about Camden, because they could then point to it and say, well, yes, Philadelphia has our problems, but at least we're not Camden.
Yeah. And it's just the opposite now. Now you will hear those same media stations say, Philadelphia need to take a look at Camden and see what Camden has done to turn it around. President Barack Obama has visited Camden 3 times. On his final visit to Camden, he said publicly, "I'm going to say something I may have never said again. Today, I hold Camden up as a symbol of promise and hope for the nation. If they can turn it around in Camden, they can turn it around anywhere. And I'm proud to say that since September of 2014, Camden, New Jersey has led the state of New Jersey in crime reduction. And today we're at an 80% drop in crime. We're at our lowest crime rate over the last 50 years. We also lead the nation in employment opportunity. So it's a big difference.
And other things, I mean, and you and the current administration under Mayor Karstoffen and even previous administration under, to some extent Frank Moran and Dana Red, you've tackled health issues in the city of Camden. Education, I mean, the graduation rates from high school have improved significantly over the past several years. Housing opportunities have improved. Where there used to have to be incentives to come into the city, now businesses still want to come in even without those incentives being available.
Yeah, absolutely. Camden is the hottest place in the country right now, and if not the world. In fact, let me talk about that. Back in 1941, when the Japanese bombed Pearl Harbor, Camden, New Jersey was the richest city in the world. We had 144,000 residents, and we had more jobs than we had, people. So that's, today we're back. People say, hey, Camden's coming back. We're having a good time in the city of Camden, especially in certain professions. If you're into eds and meds, Camden City is where you want to be. That's where, we have Virtua, we have Coopers, we have CamCare, we have Virtua Lords. We have the Rutgers School of Nursing. We have the Rowan University school there. We have the Rutgers Rowan Joint Health Science Centers there. So there's a lot going on in the city. And
we're going to take a break and come back and talk more about what's going on in the city and how you play a role about spreading that positive news, both in your role as councilman as well as through the Anointed Journal. So we'll be right back with Councilman Chris Collins and What the Why. Welcome back to What the Why, and our guest today is Chris Collins, also known as Councilman Chris Collins, also known as Reverend Chris Collins. And he was just telling us before the break about some of the many positive things that have happened in Camden.
Sure. And let me elaborate on that. Historically, or I would say traditionally, if something happened in the city of Camden, as Camden County Sheriff Whit Wilson always say, if a dog bites a man, it's no big story. But if a man bites a dog, that's headline news. So if something happened in Camden, they'll say, hey, a Camden man did this, a Camden man did that. But when something happens in the county, they're not going to say a Cherry Hill rabbi murdered his wife. They'll say a Camden County, so they're not going to say a Cherry Hill swim instructor. They'll say a Camden County. So that's always been a play on words, and the public always hear that word Camden and they think that it's Camden City. That's not Camden City. We have quite a bit, I think about 37 municipalities in Camden County, and Camden City is just one of them.
So where it gets interesting is because they couldn't do that in 2020 during the summer of George Floyd.
Yes.
Where cities throughout the country had issues with rioting and looting. But the residents of Camden and the Camden Community Police marched arm in arm together.
Yes, we did.
In support of racial and economic justice.
Yep. The most dangerous city in the world that they called us showed the nation and the world, because I got phone calls from Germany, I got phone calls from around the world. We stood together in solidarity. We had our Chief Joe Wasaki, myself, some local organizers. We walked in unity, and it's amazing because I remember going down to the Camden waterfront. A very peaceful calm was over the city of Camden. But yet if you looked across that river, you saw all the maybe 5 news choppers in the air circling Philadelphia. Philadelphia was under fire. But yet in beautiful downtown Camden, It was extremely quiet and peaceful.
I don't even know if people realize this, but an episode of ABC's The Rookie, which has no affiliation with our show, even did a series of episodes where they
Yes.
referenced trying to make changes in LA based on Camden.
Absolutely.
And the community policing model and some of the things that Camden did, which shows you the reach, and definitely started to change the perception that so many had in their minds for so long.
And we have a great time in the city of Camden with our law enforcement agencies. These are our sons, they're our daughters, our brothers and sisters, our classmates. So Camden is a city, when we talk about community policing, we understand that the police cannot do it by themselves. It takes a community effort. So once a month, the local clergy, community stakeholders, the police department, and the school district, we get together and we talk about things. That was started under Mayor Faison, and then Mayor Red continued with her Mayor's Congress. And again, the commanders would give a state of where we are in their particular district. The school superintendent would give a state of where the school districts are, and the mayor would also speak. So this is a time where, unlike before, we're all working together for the betterment of the city of Camden, and it's wonderful, you know, to see police officers jumping rope with the kids, to see the local clergy, myself, when our police department do community pop-ups, and you'll have some young officer on a barbecue grill that may not know what they're doing, and I'll say, hey, let me take this grill over. These are the things that we do in the city of Camden. You know, we invite our officers to our family gatherings, and it's no other place like the city of Camden, where the way we treat our officers and the way our officers stand with us.
Just walk up and say hi.
Yep.
I've had it happen numerous times.
If something happens in the city, I'll get a text message, hey, Reverend Collins, I just want you to know we had a situation, and we handled it. And I'll respond, well, thank you, make no mistake about it, we stand with our officers, and it's wonderful. It's also exciting to be in government and leadership, and to be working along with the police chief or the captains we all came out of high school together, you know, and the second ward, we're excited because we call ourselves the Fantastic Four, and we all live within blocks away from each other. You have Minister Wasim Muhammad, who's our school board president. You have State Assemblyman Bill Spearman, who's our General Assembly. You have myself, the councilman of the second ward, and you have our mayor, Victor Karstafen. We all live in the same neighborhood. Yeah.
Makes for an easy walk to have a variety of leadership discussions.
There you go.
So the nice thing is there's so much to report that is positive, that is amazing. You said you've been doing it for years. But at the time that you started the paper, I imagine some people thought, what on earth are you doing?
Well, many grassroots newspapers have come and gone. Some call them barroom newspapers. We pride ourselves with the anointed. In this industry, there are a lot of people who just chase advertising dollars. A lot of them survive off of small business ads. You know, the corporate ads, they don't come easy. And those are the ads you need, because those are the ads that pay the bills, but they don't come easy. And the mainstream media, the daily press, they usually take up 75% of the market and leave a quarter for those of us that are small newspapers to fight for. We've been very fortunate because we built our reputation. Our product is clean cut, and years ago we had to fight in that lane and that space for the big corporate ads. Well, today we don't. Corporations call us to advertise because they see the value of what we represent. And also, sometimes corporate marketers don't know how to reach the urban marketplace. So, you know, with the anointed, it's about relationship building. So I don't sell ads, I build relationships, and as a result, the ads come.
All right. And then, after years of being a voice representing the community, council seat opens and you're appointed.
Yes, we were fortunate. Mayor Frank Moran had moved on,
Right.
and at that time, Councilman Victor Karstaffen stepped up to fill the vacancy in the mayor's chair, and there was an opening in the second ward, and my name was very strongly considered, and I was appointed by the Camden County Democratic Party and the Camden City Democratic Committee, and when the election came in November, it was great to be appointed by the party, but there's nothing like being chosen by the people. So I believe I received 97% of the votes, and we were very fortunate. We didn't take anything for granted. We're very grateful to serve in our ward.
What's one thing that you've learned about the process that's different from what you expected it would be like as a council person?
The most important thing as a council person is to return those phone calls, but I take it a step further. If someone called my office, I want to meet that individual, so I don't just return a phone call. I go out to the house or to the scene. I want to meet everybody. We built relationships in government as well, and one of my greatest moments as a council person is it's a woman, Miss Grimes is her name. She's an older woman, and she called my office. Miss Grimes has been calling the city of Camden for 12 years in reference to a house that had some unusual activity a couple doors from her, and I just happened to give her some attention. And not only do I give her attention, I call her on a regular basis. She calls me her third son. And it was very exciting and rewarding on election day when I get a phone call from Miss Grimes, and she said, "Councilman, I just want you to know I voted. I haven't voted in over 10 years, but I said, the councilman calls me, he checks up on me, and to motivate one of our senior citizens to go back to the polls."
Wow.
This woman feels that now she has something she could vote for because now she has a councilman that she know by name, that she can, if I don't call her, she'll call me, and we talk about many different things.
And that you follow through.
Yes.
I think that's one of the big things. You actually follow through on the promises that you make.
Yes. And I just want to say that even before I came into the seat officially as councilman, to many of the residents in the city of Camden, I was already considered a non-elected leader. So if they couldn't get things done in government, then pretty much they would track me down and I would assist them in taking care of their issues.
Well, there's a term called leading from any chair. And that's what you were doing.
Sure, yep.
And so I guess somewhere out there is a young person who might be thinking, I want to do something along the lines of a positive news source. Or maybe they're thinking, maybe someday I'd like to run for political office. What's one key takeaway that you would share with them in terms of how they move forward with
Sure.
overcoming any fears they might have around that?
Well, Camden is a great training ground. And what I say, whether you want to start a business or take a tour in entrepreneurship, or whether you want to take a tour in government, you have to believe in you when no one else do. I started a newspaper. I helped my 6th grade school teacher move. He gave me $140. I took that $140. I believe it was $68, registered my trade name with the county clerk. I took $29 and got me a P.O. box because I couldn't afford office. And I took $50 and got a 1-800 answering service because I couldn't afford to hire anybody. But that's how I started this business back. I wrote the business plan in 1994. The first issue went out in 1995 in April. We started out with 20 pages. A lot of small newspapers don't hit 20 pages.
No.
We started out 20 pages, 2,000 copies. May, 20 pages, 5,000 copies. June, Black Expo USA was coming to the Philadelphia Civic Center. We got an opportunity to become a media sponsor. We went to 24 pages, 20,000 copies, and we never turned and looked back. This is 100% pure sweat equity. So if you want to get into entrepreneurship, you want to get into government, you have to believe in yourself when no one else do, and it will take sweat equity. You know, for me, I got my butt kicked literally in business for 15 years before I turned the corner. Today is a different story. We have no struggle. You know, we're just here to serve.
28 years, almost 200,000 regular readers.
Almost 200,000 regular readers. That's in print.
Yeah.
And
online.
with the online, Rev, I'm sorry, I'm just getting back to you, but I'm in Spain and I just read The Anointed. That was exciting. Somebody read The Anointed in Spain.
Wow. Wow. So, well, on that note, our time is up. So thank you so much for coming in, talking to our audience, having this conversation with me. There's a number of people out there who might be considering doing some of the things that you've done, and I really think that it'll help them. And also hope you learned some things about Camden that maybe you didn't know, because a lot of people really are not aware of all that has gone on in the city of Camden. So Chris's contact did display, so feel free to reach out to him to learn more. He is also on LinkedIn, and along work. He owns his own family therapy practice. Mental health is a big thing these days. In addition to that, though, he describes himself as a storyteller extraordinaire. So you have to tune in to find out what he means by that. The week after that, we'll be joined by Luis de la Hoz. He's the first vice president and regional director of community lending with Valley Bank and chairman of the board of directors of the statewide Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. You really don't want to miss out on what either of these two gentlemen have to say. As a reminder, What the Why airs on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 1 p.m. and again on Mondays at 3:30 p.m. and is also available on demand through RVN Television and Roku. So whether you're looking to make changes in your life or career, big or small, please join us again for more inspirational and informative conversations with people like Chris, who wanted to make changes and overcame any fears and obstacles they might have had in their path to find their purpose and live it.